Over here is the pylons, and over here are the parabolic dishes in the lower right, but the pylons where these test articles are placed on top are located downrange. McDonnell Douglas, which is now Boeing, they have their own radar cross-section range, and you can fly over these facilities on the weekends. Here's what their facility looks like. Very expansive, very large. It's very remote here. On the lower right hand, you see a building that moves on 12 rubber wheels. They move on these tracks here that you can see in this location right here, and it covers a test article over here and over here. So that's Boeing's radar cross-section range. Of course, Lockheed has theirs. That's at Helendale, California. This is their parabolic dish, a very large facility, absolutely. This is the 170-degree hanger pin turn that you would make right in here. This is a 50-ton concrete door that is moved via hydraulic cylinders, and pylons can come out of here. Lowboy trucks can go to an underground facility in this door entrance right in this location. Now this is a photograph of a good friend of mine, retired Naval Combat Veteran Jack D. Pickett, who was in the NCO Club newsletter at MacDill Air Force Base, about 7 miles east-west, or actually lower west portion of Tampa. And he was driving down the perimeter road at MacDill Air Force Base, and when he got to this location right here, he saw 4 of the most amazing aircraft that he had ever seen before. Absolutely amazing at the base scrapyard. They are measured 20, 40, 70. The largest one was 116 feet in diameter. They all had tricycle landing gear. There were air intakes on both sides of the pilot's compartment. The crew compartment swept back to a very high vertical stabilizer. Here is an illustration of the large one. He mentioned that the large craft, which had a crew of 5 to 6, the tail on the large one was higher than the mall parking lot lights that you would see at your standard mall parking lot. So very high vertical tail. There was the insignia on the port side, the official Air Force star and bars, and then U.S. Air Force written on the starboard side of the aircraft. Control surfaces located around the circumference of the aircraft. And so Jack Pickett was very interested. He wanted to take pictures of these, was denied access to taking pictures because there's no photography permitted on the base. So he was allowed to go inside the general's private library. The general personally took him up there. And this particular general pulled open this file drawer and started laying out literally hundreds of officially stamped Air Force photographs of these aircraft in flight, in formation, on the tarmacs. Just an incredible amount of photographs. This is a sketch that he drew from memory with an F-80 Shooting Star flying chase with these things in flight. And so Jack Pickett put a 16-page article together which included a number of these photographs in here. And this is an actual plastic model that is now done in production, so we're getting the word out on that front. Here you can see the 2 air intakes on both sides of the pilot's compartment. And just prior to going to press with this story, there was an overflight of downtown Miami of a much more advanced VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing version of this particular aircraft that took off from Avon Park. For some reason, they suffered a propulsion system malfunction. This thing dropped down to treetop level directly over downtown Miami, and the next morning, it was completely all over the network news. There was newspaper accounts, there was a media blitz all about this particular sighting. And so Jack Pickett, on his way into the general's office at MacDill Air Force Base, and this is a good computer-generated forensic composite illustration that shows you what these aircraft look like being towed on the dry lake bed. Here is the 40-foot disc here, and then the 116-foot disc right here. This was an actual U.S. Air Force jet flying wing disc program. They did have some stability problems. They scrapped every remaining version of this aircraft with the exception of the 4 that were at MacDill Air Force Base. So when Jack Pickett brought this Tampa Tribune morning paper into the general's office, he said, "General, I think we've got a problem here because on one side, you're getting ready to declassify these aircraft that are at the base scrapyard, and then on the other side, you're denying the existence of this thing that flew